We are a life, love, and relationship podcast. That is
Yes,
what
we
we
are.
do. That is what we do. All right. We're going to dive into everyday work struggles from body image, paranoia, and toxic coworkers to anxiety management, repairing colleague relationships, and navigating job transfers. Real advice for surviving for the third shift grind, or your 9 to 5 third shift grind. Anyway, how did I mess that one up?
You just jumped right over it, man.
I did. I just skipped over it. And as always, welcome to Late Night Love. I'm Jazz. She's Lubby. And this we're talking about mostly work this afternoon. So, or this evening, my bad. That you know why? That's a description. I'm just messed all that up. You'd think I was a professional or something. I only teach this stuff for a living. I actually been invited to speak at a conference about podcasting and whatnot and things like that. So yeah, I've already told them, if you ever want to feel better about your things, just watch one of my intros and you feel better about yourself.
Is that one of the things that you
yeah, just go watch one of my intros. Pick any one, is bound to have something I screwed up in it. All right, so welcome to Late Night Love. We're going to kick things off with our live segments where we unpack the everyday chaos as keys. Slow down. Let's start that over. All right, let's kick off with our live segment where we unpack the everyday chaos that keeps us up at night. Tonight, we're focusing on the workplace, those nagging doubts, stressful interactions, and big decisions that can make or break your day. Whether you're questioning perceptions or plotting your next move, we have got you covered. Yeah, there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, I was expecting a big thing, and I give him a small one. Just what the heck. All right, let's get started before I cause any more problems today.
Okay. Do workers do some workers in my job think I'm fat, or am I just being paranoid? They were giving out shirts to everybody. And the guy asked her, "Do you want an extra large shirt?"
You're just being paranoid. You're feeling self-conscious. People look at, shirts run in different sizes. Some extra larges are like other smalls, And who knows? Maybe you like wearing large shirts.
She said she did. That's why she wanted the extra large. She took it.
So then don't worry about it.
They think she's fat.
Oh, for the love of God. So what, if you'd have told them the extra large and then you're working yourself. This is all inside your head. This is entirely existing inside this poor woman's head.
It is. I know.
Nobody else has thought anything about this. It's just a t-shirt.
No. Not one iota.
That man who handed it to you is not contemplating it anymore, other than he gave some lady a t-shirt. That's
what he did.
I gave Barbara a t-shirt. She asked for a t-shirt. I don't know what size she asked for. I don't remember. What do I care? That poor man don't have the slightest idea that you spent any time at all thinking about that t-shirt interaction.
That interaction that you had, yes.
Yeah. So this is completely inside your own head, and I feel for you on that. But because telling you not to think about that is going to be telling you, like, again, back to the don't think of an elephant, and everybody's going to think of the elephant. So the solution for this is just to accept that most people do not care that much about you enough to think about these things.
They really don't. It's sad. You want them to care, but
but do you?
But that's not.
Do you really want them to care what size shirt you wear?
Well, no.
So you don't think you're fat. They probably noticed you like wearing shirts baggy, and so they offered you a baggy shirt, right?
Yeah.
If anything, be happy he noticed that you like big shirts. There
you go.
And trust us, we all got beer bellies or Dr. Pepper bellies or whatever, taco bellies, whatever it is you happen to overindulge on. Most men have those. We do not judge people for having. No. The other ones who don't may stand out more, but we're not judging the ones who aren't. who've got, who share our shape.
No, that would be hypocritical.
Yeah. Yeah. Doesn't mean we can't like the ones who don't share our shape, but we don't judge anybody who shares our shape. We're with you. We're standing on that side of the road with you. Eating our ice cream together. That's what's happening. All right, let's move on before I really get in trouble.
I work third shift, and my only coworker is very stressful to be around. What would you do? This person just rants and vents the whole time.
Well, it depends. What can you do about it?
You're going to have to learn to ignore it.
Yeah.
Because you can't control other people.
No, I mean, can you limit the time you're around that person? Can you work somewhere else? Can you put your headphones in? All that kind of stuff. You're like night security or something. Or you spend your time, you know what? You can sit in here in the office. I'm going to go walk the perimeter, and just whatever it is. I don't know. Are you team janitors? It depends. Night IT.
They didn't. She didn't.
Yeah. So my suggestion is try to find something else to do as much as possible. So you're not hanging around listening to it rant. Because here's the thing, he probably doesn't have anybody else in his life to talk to, and since you're stuck with him and there's not a lot else to do, that's his opportunity. So in a sense, feel bad for him, but go find something else to do so you don't have to listen to it.
Something.
Yeah, find something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take long poops, for the love of God. I don't know. This is going to be one of those nights. All right, what's next?
How to deal with anxiety induced by work?
You're being triggered by small things.
Triggered by small things. The big things. Big projects that are to be due, no problem. But these little things like I have to make a copy. I hope the copy machine work.
Yeah.
Little things.
Yeah. It just means those other things, those bigger things, are more stressful than you feel. And so the stress is leaching out at other times. So spend some time to de-stress. You're just generally stressed. And generally speaking, because you're working on a project and you're a very big professional, you can power kind of through on those things. But guess what? It's leaching out on the small tasks, with frustrations over a printer, which everybody has. And that's why in that show, The Office, or the movie, they beat the printer up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's because printers are the worst piece of technology ever invented. But we all need them. And it's terrible. Anyway, I have my own issues with printers. So it's a sign that your stress is starting to build up. And it's starting to steam. It's starting to come out the sides, like a teapot. When it first starts to boil, it's not a full thing. It's little puffs. Beep, poof, beep. This is what those are. This is called a big warning sign that you are far more stressed than you realize.
Okay.
So take some time and work on some de-stressing. Take a few days off, whatever it is you need to do. But acknowledge the stress you're actually under, because that's the sign. Your teapot is starting to boil, and how much of a boil do you really want it to get to? It's the starting signs. You notice them.
Yeah.
And you notice them because you reached out to people going, hey, is this a thing? Yes, it's a thing.
Yes, it's a thing.
And it's not your big project. It just hasn't shown up there yet. It will if you don't do something about it. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Spoke to my colleague in a slightly irritated tone of voice briefly, and now she's upset with me. How do I repair the relationship?
I do these things. You just keep on being a professional. You don't deal with it. Right? People get irritated. People have our days. And, giving grace and getting grace is kind of the same thing. Right? You give what you get what you give.
Yeah.
So when she has an irritated day, don't judge her by it because you've had yours, right?
Yeah.
We all have days where we're, for whatever reason, on edge. Doesn't even necessarily be stressed. You can literally wake up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, back hurts, and so you're irritated all day, right?
Yeah.
And it comes out. Do you have to go around and go make amends to everybody who had to interact with you that day when you were a little short and a little irritated? No, you'd spend your life doing that. So just be mindful that, just behave like normal going forward. And everything's fine. These things work themselves out.
So you don't think that, quick, hey, I was a little gruff the other day. I apologize.
Well, you can, but do you really need to apologize because you had an irritated tone? I don't think you need to apologize for an irritated tone.
Well, the other lady feels like she is owed an apology. Obviously, she was slighted.
It's good to want things. Builds character when you don't get it.
Stop it.
What?
I'm cereal.
So am I. Not everything needs to be fixed, right? Just because someone, took offense at something doesn't mean that you have to correct it.
Yeah, but you got to work with this person, man.
Yeah, I know.
It's worth it just to.
Is
just
it?
To,
now
yeah.
you set up the precedent that you have to walk on eggshells.
No.
Yeah, because now even an slightly irritated tone now requires you to deal with. I can't have an slightly irritated day, and
keep the peace.
Yes, trust me. This way will keep the peace far better than your way.
Okay.
Because your way will just set up this. It's going to be a repeated thing.
Okay.
It's never going to end.
All right.
So I'm just saying. I mean, again, if you had actually done something more than a slightly irritated tone, it's the slightly irritated. No, you don't get.
I have a AA background in having to make amends for just this kind of thing.
Yes, but that's a little different. You don't have to go around and make amends to everybody you had a slightly irritated tone with.
If they took offense.
How do you know? Because most people will give people grace who are slightly irritated for whatever reason.
Yeah, everybody else did, but this one didn't.
So what? You aren't the one who have to be.
You're just going to ignore her?
Yeah, in this particular case, yeah.
Okay, well, we're just going to have to disagree.
Because I'm not going to set up the case where I have to go around and apologize to this woman every time she has a minor offense. You're setting the precedent that's just going to drag you and your whole teamwork and organization down. Because everybody's now going to have to walk on eggshells because this woman is overly sensitive.
Oh, boo-hoo. You're just really just over-dramatizing this.
I've been there, seen that far too many times to have it overly dramatizing.
Are you serious?
Yeah. One person gets once you feed that overly sensitive thing, it never ends. Everything becomes offensive. Then it's not even slightly irritated tones. I inferred a slightly irritated tone, so therefore you have to apologize to me. What are you talking about? Now I'm really irritated. Why did you have to apologize to me? You notice that's how that works. Them irritating you with their baseless, goofy interpretation of a tone that didn't exist. You now have to deal with it. So now I'm really irritated. Do you have to apologize to me to irritating me? No, they do not. That's my point. So you don't never give it life. If it was something real, you deal with it. But this isn't real. No, you don't get to be offended at a slightly irritated tone. You can be annoyed with it. Fine. Great. We all are. Right. But you go on about your day because that's what a slightly irritated tone
Well,
deserves.
I do. Yeah.
Yes. You don't feed anything beyond that.
No, it's they're having a bad day.
Yeah. And maybe there's two people having a bad day at the same day. And you know how we know how that works.
We don't talk.
We know how that works. But that's the thing. You don't deal with it, right? You leave it alone. No, they're having a bad day. I'm having a bad day. Sleeping dogs live. We're each going our own way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just all right. So there's some disagreement on that one, but hey, what do we get?
Okay. My manager quit abruptly and my boyfriend wants to apply. Is this a bad idea?
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he can, but it's probably a bad idea. Is he actually qualified? I suppose is the other question.
You know, you got a long way to go.
Yeah, but it's a relatively bad idea. But if you're in an area that few jobs of this type come around, you know, sometimes you have to deal with these things. If you live in a relatively small town, the jobs, manager type jobs only come around so often.
Mm-hmm.
So there is that to consider. But other than that, it's a really bad idea. Even then, it's not a great idea. It's just, you know, sometimes circumstances overrule these things. Okay.
I hate lunches with my boss. I need an excuse.
Well, I get the great excuses. I go home for lunch every day. I get to go home, see the family for lunch, and people don't like interrupting that kind of, they feel awkward interrupting that kind of routine. So no one ever asked me to lunch. It works. Now I'm lucky. I live a mile from home, right? You know, I mean, I live a mile from work, so I can do that easily. But create standardized plans, so therefore they have to interrupt something that's a standardized lunch thing. But here's the other side of this. As much as I despise these things, and I do, I just hate the whole concept of having conversations over lunch. We're eating. It's the worst time to have any type of remotely serious conversation. It's just the obviously worst time. No one wants to talk while you're eating. No one wants it.
That's when you make small talk, dear. And then when the meal is over, then you get down and dirty.
No, when the meal is over, I want to go. I'm done eating. I don't want to spend my time in a restaurant.
No, then the meeting starts.
No, then you can't hear anything. That's just, it's the worst environment to actually have a conversation. I'm just saying. It's the absolute worst environment. You got all kinds of people around. I don't want to talk in a public place about something. Get out of here. What's wrong with you people? So I get it. I get where they're coming from, is my point.
Yeah.
But if you want a career advancement, depending upon the culture of where you work, you may have to deal with it. You know, learning to network, as they call it, is part of your career growth. So there's that. Okay.
How to request a transfer? He's in a small town right now.
Yeah.
And he's not doing well. He hates small town. He wants to transfer to a bigger city.
Does his job have bigger city things? Well, then you look for job openings in those areas that you're looking for, and you apply for those, and you seek a transfer that way. They have to have an opening to transfer you to.
Yes.
So you have to find an opening that you qualify for and ask for that job, which usually goes by internal applications, right? And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So now they may not have anybody to replace you, which may make that difficult. So get to know your, this is why going to lunch with your boss, your regional manager or whatever, in this case, that relationship, he likes you enough to, make things work, do some extra work that they otherwise wouldn't really want to do. I don't want to move you because now we got to move someone else in there. We got to find someone else. We got to train someone else. Got to teach them the area. Small towns and big cities have their own unique, regardless of the industry, they all have their unique circumstances and things to learn. So, but ultimately, find a job opening internally in an area where you want to work, and you apply for that internally. That's generically how you do it. Work with your regional manager or whatever, and tell them this is what you would like long term, and maybe they can work on a plan for you. This is where you have these conversations. This is the reason you go to those bosses' lunches. And like me, and I just tell them, hey, Bob, this is what I want. Yeah. This is what I'm thinking. I'm a little more blunt, but that's me. Most people are softer. Most bosses probably prefer the softer approach, but when you're good, you get to do what you want and these kind of things. Yeah.
Yes, darling, you really are.
That wraps up our live segment. Remember, your job doesn't define you, but handling it right can change everything. All right, that's it for us tonight. Have a good night. Please remember to love everybody.
Good night.